Let's talk about that voice in your head. You know the one. It shows up uninvited, whispering doubts like, "You'll never be good enough," or "Why even bother? You're going to fail." Sound familiar? That relentless, nagging fear has a name: Atychiphobia, or the obsessive fear of failure. And here's the kicker: it doesn't discriminate. No matter how capable or confident you may appear, it can creep into the minds of even the sharpest thinkers. Yes, INTJs, this includes you. Known as the masterminds of personality types, INTJs are famed for their strategic brilliance, analytical precision, and ability to achieve their goals with ease. They aren't typically labelled as fearful, but here's the truth: INTJs are just as vulnerable to self-doubt as anyone else. In fact, their high standards and acute self-awareness make them more prone to Atychiphobia's sting. One mistake can cause an INTJ to spiral into self-criticism, questioning their worth and capabilities. It's an agonizing experience, especially for someone who thrives on competence and control. But fear not, literally. Today, we'll explore 7 practical and empowering strategies to help you conquer your fear of failure as an INTJ. Stick around to the end. INTJs are uniquely positioned to turn this fear into fuel for success. Let's dive in. Number 7. Develop a routine that works for you. INTJs are natural-born strategists. You thrive on logic, planning, and efficiency. So, when it comes to overcoming your fear of failure, the first step is to create a routine that keeps you grounded and focused. Routines aren't just about ticking boxes, they're about building structure in your life that minimizes chaos and uncertainty. And for an INTJ who thrives on control and purpose, this can be a game changer. Your cognitive function of extroverted thinking, TE, means you excel at organizing your environment and completing tasks systematically. A well-designed routine aligns with this natural strength, giving you a framework to focus on what truly matters. Whether it's planning your day the night before, setting dedicated work hours, or creating a morning ritual, your routine can act as your anchor. But here's the key: don't overcomplicate it. Some INTJs fall into the trap of designing elaborate, rigid routines that end up being impossible to maintain. Instead, keep it simple and adaptable. A routine should serve you, not the other way around. By leaning into this structure, you'll find it easier to stay productive and silence the nagging fear of failure. After all, when you're immersed in executing your plan, there's less room for doubt. Remember, success isn't about perfection. It's about progress, and routines pave the way. Number 6. Redefine failure as growth. Failure. Even the word can make you cringe. As an INTJ, you've likely spent a lifetime trying to avoid it. After all, your high standards and logical mind push you to excel in everything you do. But here's the truth: failure isn't a flaw in your process. It's an essential ingredient for growth. Think about the greatest innovators in history. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Albert Einstein failed countless times before reshaping physics. Were they failures? Hardly. They understood something fundamental. Failure is feedback. It's not the end of the road. It's a signpost guiding you toward improvement. For INTJs, the fear of failure often stems from a desire to maintain perfection. You hold yourself to a near impossible standard, and when things don't go as planned, it can feel like the foundation of your competence is crumbling. But here's the key: failure doesn't define you, it refines you. Start by analyzing your mistakes without judgment. Ask yourself, what went wrong and what can I learn from this? This reflective approach aligns perfectly with your analytical strengths. Over time, you'll realize that failure is just another step on the ladder to success. Redefining failure as growth allows you to embrace it, learn from it, and ultimately conquer your fear of it. Number 5. Adopt a growth mindset. As an INTJ, you're wired for forward thinking. Your dominant introverted intuition, Ni, loves exploring possibilities and predicting outcomes. But sometimes, this precision can work against you. If an idea doesn't feel fully fleshed out, you might reject it too quickly, fearing it will fail. This rigidity can trap you in a cycle of inaction. The antidote? A growth mindset. Adopting a growth mindset means shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing challenges as threats, view them as opportunities to evolve. Sure, change can be uncomfortable, especially for someone as methodical as you. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. To adopt this mindset, start experimenting with small changes in your life. Try new hobbies. Tackle unfamiliar challenges. Instead of overanalyzing every decision, trust your intuition to guide you through uncertainty. Remember, not every choice will lead to success, and that's okay. Each misstep is a lesson in disguise. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it encourages curiosity over fear. By reframing failure as a stepping stone, you give yourself the freedom to explore, create, and innovate. And as an INTJ, there's nothing more fulfilling than mastering a new skill or strategy. So, let go of perfection. Embrace progress and watch how your fear of failure transforms into fuel for success. Number 4. Get to know yourself on a deeper level. INTJs are famously introspective. You spend so much time analysing the world around you that it's easy to forget to analyse yourself. But when was the last time you truly sat down and asked yourself the big questions? Questions like, what drives my need for success? Am I too critical of myself? What does failure actually mean to me? These aren't easy questions, but they're essential. Fear of failure often stems from unresolved internal conflicts. By understanding your motives, fears, and patterns, you can start addressing the root cause of your anxiety. The good news? Self-reflection is one of your superpowers. INTJs are naturally skilled at dissecting complex problems, and this includes your own emotions. Treat your fear of failure like a puzzle, one that requires time, patience, and careful thought to solve. Self-awareness isn't just about introspection, it's about empowerment. The more you understand yourself, the more equipped you'll be to face challenges head-on. Remember, even the most successful people, think Arnold Schwarzenegger, Elon Musk, Michelle Obama, have battled self-doubt. What sets them apart is their willingness to confront it. By getting to know yourself better, you'll uncover strengths you didn't know you had and reframe your fear of failure as a stepping stone towards self-mastery. Number 3. Take pride in failure. Failure. For many INTJs, it's the ultimate mark of imperfection, a stain on an otherwise spotless record of achievement. But what if I told you that failure isn't the enemy? In fact, it's something you should take pride in. Here's the distinction. Taking pride in failure doesn't mean celebrating mistakes for their own sake. It means recognizing that failure is a natural part of growth and transformation. Without it, progress is impossible. The very act of failing means you're trying, learning, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Consider this. No one is flawless, not even you. While you might feel the pressure to maintain perfection, chasing an unattainable ideal can leave you paralyzed. Instead, think of failure as a teacher. Each misstep holds valuable lessons, guiding you toward improvement. For INTJs, this analytical approach is second nature. When you analyze failures with objectivity and compassion, you shift your focus from blame to growth. Start small. The next time you stumble, take a moment to reflect. What went wrong? What did I learn? How will I adjust next time? This process not only helps you move past failure, but also builds resilience. Taking pride in failure isn't about glorifying mistakes. It's about reframing them as stepping stones. And as an INTJ, every step brings you closer to mastery. Number 2, prioritize self-care. Let's be honest, as an INTJ, you're always in action mode. Your mind races with plans, strategies, and goals, while your secondary function, extroverted thinking, TE, keeps you laser-focused on execution. But here's the thing. When you neglect self-care, you're setting yourself up for burnout. And burnout? It's a breeding ground for fear and self-doubt. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation of mental clarity, emotional resilience, and physical energy, all of which are essential for overcoming the fear of failure. So, what does self-care look like for an INTJ? First, carve out time for solitude. Your inner world is your sanctuary, and it's where your best ideas come to life. Use this time to reflect, recharge, and reconnect with your goals. Next, focus on physical well-being. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and sufficient sleep are non-negotiables. A strong body supports a sharp mind, and together, they form a powerful force against stress and fear. Finally, don't underestimate the value of meaningful connections. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Positive relationships remind you that you're not alone, even in moments of doubt. Remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's strategic. When you take care of yourself, you equip your mind and body to face challenges with strength and clarity. Number 1. Set smaller, achievable goals. Let's face it, as an INTJ, you're no stranger to ambition. Your big picture thinking allows you to envision lofty goals, but here's where things can go wrong. When the goal feels too overwhelming, fear creeps in, whispering, "You'll never get there." The solution? Break the big picture into smaller, achievable milestones. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Staring at the summit from the base can feel daunting, but when you focus on reaching the next checkpoint just 100 feet ahead, it feels manageable. Each small win builds momentum, confidence, and clarity. For INTJs, this approach aligns perfectly with your strengths. Your logical mind thrives on structure and progress. By setting smaller goals, you create a clear roadmap, reducing the uncertainty that fuels fear. For example, instead of saying, "I need to master this entire skill in a month," break it down. This week, I'll tackle the basics. Small victories add up. They remind you that progress is progress, no matter how incremental. More importantly, they protect your self-esteem from the crushing weight of perfectionism. You don't have to achieve everything at once. Focus on the next step, then the one after that. Before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've climbed higher than you ever thought possible. The fear of failure doesn't define you, it challenges you. And as an INTJ, challenges are where you thrive. By developing routines, reframing failure, adopting a growth mindset, and prioritizing self-care, you can turn your fear into fuel. What strategies resonate most with you? Have you battled and conquered your own fear of failure? Share your story in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation and the growth going. You've got this.